Hey everybody, it's your boy Pee Wee back with another video. So today is just going to be a video of five manhwa that I don't really see a lot of people talk about or that a lot of people like recommend. But they're like hidden gems, so to say. Obviously they're not going to be for everybody. These are just like five hidden gems for me personally, that I never really knew anything about going into. No one ever told me anything about them. I was never recommended them, but they turned out to be comics that I really enjoyed and that I still look forward to every single week. So let's just get right into it. The first one is going to be the male lead's little lion daughter, or I became the male lead's adopted daughter. You'll find it under at least one of those names, wherever you tend to look for it. Um, just a quick rundown of this is the main character. She's an orphan. If I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've read this one. But it's either she gets reincarnated into like a story or into like this family, or she's just adopted. Like she's an orphan, like her parents died orphan, and she gets adopted by the male lead. I don't know if it's a transgression one for sure or not. Reincarnation right here. Okay, so it is. But essentially, she's at an orphanage. She gets adopted by the male lead of like the actual story. And essentially, what makes this one as good as I believe it is, it's just the dynamic between the main character and her adopted father. When you think of the saying like father, like daughter, it really is like in this comic, it's just like verbatim that. Like her adopted father is he's like a kind of like a ruthless like scheming type of person, and she also has that type of personality. She's not one to back down, even with him, and she likes to butt head with him all the time. And just overall, the dynamic between these two is what I believe has made this comic just a hidden gem, in my opinion. Now, the plot's decent, the art's decent. You're not going to find anything special in those regards. It's just like I said, the dynamic between these two characters is what has made me enjoy it as much as I have. The second one is going to be subscribe to GodTube, or subscribing to the Transcendence channel. This comic is kind of like another comic called Transcension Academy. If you don't know what that one is either, essentially the main character has this like system. Like he either has like this phone that he uses to like, it's essentially like YouTube for the gods, right? So it's like he pays money, rather than like actually subscribing. Like he has to pay money to access these channels of these gods and use their abilities. Like say like Hercules, he subscribes to Hercules channel by paying a decent amount of money, and he starts learning the Hercules like skills. Like he gets super strength and like essentially how to utilize that and control that. Um, it's like there is like a hunter type feel to it. Like there's like ranks of like these hunters, or I forgot exactly what they call them in the story, but essentially he's going to be paying money to utilize the skills of these gods to become the strongest hunter. So if you that sounds cool to you, I think the art's okay. I would say the art in this one is better than Transcension Academy. Since these two are just so much alike, it's just the easiest comparison I can make. But overall, I feel like it is a pretty solid comic. It's a pretty decent read, and overall, I think it's something you should check out. The next one would be The Masters Are Watching Over Me, or The Masters Have Subscribed. Now, this is like the one previous to where, but it's kind of like flipped. It's whereas the main character in this, he starts as like a Wu Dang disciple. He's essentially just trash, so they kick him out of the sect. And after he gets kicked out, he has this like mirror, that the people in like the heavenly realm, like all the like grandmasters and whatnot, that like went to heaven after they reached a certain amount of cultivation, they can just look through this mirror. Now, obviously, for him, it's not like an actual mirror. It's just like all in his head. It's like a system, but it's not like an actual system, and so it's just all in his head. And but they can transmit their techniques from the heavenly realm to him, and essentially he uses that to become a really strong martial artist. To help people to essentially just overcome all the difficulties that he has had in his life so far by being weak. He just focuses on getting stronger. There is like a slight romance to this. Now, it's not like an actual romance comic, so there's not like a whole lot of interaction between him and the female character, but the female character is essentially like you'll notice the impact she has on him, where it's like his best friend is the brother to that female character, and so like when they're joking about, oh, that girl looks pretty, then our main character is like, well, your sister wouldn't allow me to do that, and so as, overall, I think it's a pretty good martial arts story. If you into martial arts, I feel like it's a pretty good read that you will enjoy. I think the art's good, the story's good, but I would definitely recommend it as well. Now, the next one would be Reborn as the Heavenly Demon, which a lot of people, I made a video about this on the channel already, like months ago, giving you like a review of it, and a lot of people just they get misled by the title Reborn as the Heavenly Demon, because in reality he is just the Mirim Alliance leader, but his name literally is like Heavenly Demon translated. It's like Cheonma, Cheowa, or whatever. And so a lot of people are upset that the title is just very misleading. But overall, I think it is, if not one of the best martial arts stories that I have ever read. Now, it is a little slow in certain aspects, like world building, character development, but essentially it's just one of those main characters that you can't not like. And the story itself is really good. I'm not going to go too deep into it in this video since I already have a video on the channel previously. So if you are wondering more about this comic, feel free to go check that one out as well. And the last one, I felt like I'd give you guys like an actual romance recommendation. I am not a huge romance guy. I know this rating right here is really low, a 5.5. But overall, the only reason I really like this comic is the main character. Now, a quick overview of this one is this main character, she has lived for many, many lifetimes. She's experienced many, many things. And essentially, she's just tired of constantly reincarnating. And she literally just wants to do nothing. So in this life, she's reborn as a like spoiled princess that no one expects anything of, no one likes, yada yada yada. And she decides that using her identity in this life, she will accomplish her goal of doing literally nothing. Obviously, that's not what happens. She has people that she gets like she's a princess, I'm pretty sure, and so she goes to like this academy. She gets like a group of like friends that like basically are constantly always like trying to hang around her, do stuff with her, while she's always just like I don't want to do it. But overall, I thought when I went into this thinking that the main character was just going to be insufferable, that she would literally just be like, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, and it's just would be a horrible read. But in reality, her personality and her attitude towards everything really makes this story a hidden gem, in my opinion. I think the art's pretty good. The character designs are good. The world building is like mediocre at best. But as I said, it's her interactions with the other characters that made this a hidden gem for me. But that'll be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video or would like to see my top 5 manhwa recommendations, or if there's anything else you want me to read, review, check out, let you know my opinions of, feel free to leave those in the comments. But that'll be it for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.